When you're ready to invite vendors in, you're going to use this Solutions tab. This gives you a visual of all of the vendors that you would like to look at and invite into your project and answer all your requirements. So right now we haven't included anybody, but if I want to start including those that we want to look at, I'm going to click on Add Solution. And I'm going to start typing in a solution name. Sean, do you have one you would like me to add?
Sure, Zinrello.
Okay, so as I start typing, if they've been in a previous project, maybe not yours, but just a previous project within Olive, it starts to populate in this vendor library. So I can quickly add them. I just click the plus sign, and now I've added them into the project. And I can go through, actually, I've checked them. If there is a logo to upload or a description text, I've got that. I can add that, and then I'll click Add Solution. And now I've just added them as a vendor that I want to look at. Do you have another?
And just to be clear, the reason they would add the logo and the description is just to make it more professional looking, so that when they invite the vendor in, they have their own sort of custom page, and it just is cleaner.
It is cleaner. And as we get into the comparison tab, I'll show you why adding that logo is, I'll say, a really good idea.
Okay.
Not mandatory, but a really good idea. Do you have another one that you would like to add?
You can put in Yotpo.
How do
YOT.
IoT?
YOT.
Oh, YOTPO.
Yep.
This one? Okay.
Yep.
Check them, and now I've added them. Okay. So let's say we're just going to look at these two. When you add a solution, it's going to go into this included column first. The moving of vendors is like I want to say like an organizational function that you have for this page. This is a way that I keep track of like my projects and vendors within my projects. So just because I've added them as a solution in here doesn't mean that an email went out to a contact at Zinrello and has invited them in. When I want to invite the solution in, and I just clicked on the name and the details page popped out. These are like overview details, the evaluation status. So right now we haven't done anything. So their status is open. This gives just the high level overview of that vendor, but I want to open that solutions like profile. This is the page that you'll land on when you are starting to look at that vendor. This overview, the solution details, and any of these notes and attachments, these are all going to be things that the vendor can do and can update when they have logged in to the opportunity. So this isn't the customer's responsibility to update this information. This will be the vendor's. When you do want to invite the vendor in, I opened up their profile and I click this action button and get invite link. And I'm going to copy and paste this link, and I'm going to send it via my personal work email. You cannot invite vendors from the platform for a couple of reasons. Number one, vendor contacts tend to change based on geography, prospect size, industry, etc. And we're not like tied in with every vendor in the world, and those sales teams tend to change frequently. And we do find better response and better engagement with the vendors coming in to answer when it's been sent out via the company that is reviewing or managing the project. There is sample language of, hey, what do I tell a vendor when I'm inviting them into this project? There is sample language within that knowledge center if anybody is looking for what do I say. So you would, you'll send it out via email. They create their own vendor profile. They're prompted to complete this information, and then they're also prompted in-app to start answering your requirements. vendors are supported the same way that our customers are. So if they have questions, they get stuck, they're having any issues, they do have this in-app chat button as well. They do have their own section within the Knowledge Center. We don't expect you, Sean, or your members to act as a support team for them. They do reach out, you guys can feel free to send them my way too.
Okay, great.
So back to how I organize this, I've included all of my vendors that I want to reach out to. I have emailed Zinrello and said, hey, I have this project that I want you to review. I'm going to move you to the contact stage just so I know who I've reached out to and who I haven't. As soon as they start filling out and answering your requirements, they'll automatically go into this in progress stage. As soon as they are done and they, hit submit answers, they'll go into this completed stage. You get notified, when somebody has submitted their answers, but you've also got the option to, you can see their responses as well. So even if they're not done or they're going through it, or, they've said, hey, we've answered some of these, go take a look. I can come into this responses tab of Zinrello's profile and I can see here when they start to answer what that answer is. And when I click on it, I open it up. And like you asked before, if they've got the option to expand upon their answer. So if it was a yes, no question, I'll see yes or no right here. And then any additional details that they've, put in right here, I'll also see as well. If you do want to have some back and forth discussions with the vendors, you've got that ability here. So if the vendor says, hey, I need a little bit more explanation, or one of the stakeholders says, I don't understand this answer, can you please provide additional detail? Both sides are notified that somebody has, put in a question, there's some chat around it. Project admins can make comments or questions viewable to the vendors. Project stakeholders cannot, for what it's worth.
Okay.
And then as our stakeholders or admins are reviewing vendor answers, I can see what scores they've assigned to it. So to score an answer, I'm not going to do this one. I would click on the bar and it's a 1 to 10 scale. 10 obviously being like 100%, on down to a 0.
So Casey, are they only scoring questions that are open text, or do they score all answers?
All answers.
Got it. So somebody at the company that's performing the RFP has to go into every single question or every single answer and give it a score.
Yes.
And then that will allow the system to do its calculations in general.
Yeah. So the system will still do calculations based on how you have ranked criteria and how the vendor has answered it. But a better calculation or a better compatibility score is calculated when all 3 of those things have happened: rankings, vendor answers, and scored vendor answers.
Okay.
If there are questions or, somebody has a, hey, I would really like to see this during the demo because I'm not fully certain yet. This raised hand icon is, this I want a demo button. This keeps a running list within like that vendor profile of all the things that you guys or that your members want to see during that demo. So demos tend to be a little bit more tailored to the company's needs rather than what the vendor wants to show you, based on, you've got your list of things that you want to see, and the vendor can also see, here's the stuff that this prospect would like to see during the demo. So it's definitely more tailored.
Okay. So when they click that, oh, I want a demo button, the vendor will see that as well.
Yes, the vendor sees that in their view.